I haven't gotten my period yet. And everyone was like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? And it was a traumatic experience. So when I got my period, I was so excited.
Wow, that's great.
I called my brother in college and I was like, Michi, I got my period. And he was like, oh, bro, thanks for this information.
God.
To this day, he's like, remember when you called me and told me you got your period? It was so weird.
Hi, my name is Tam. I'm a writer and a comedian. And when I was a teenager, I had a bat mitzvah and a quinceañera, which I combined into a batzañera. Now, I'm talking to my favorite writers, actors, and comedians about their coming-of-age ceremonies as we remember what it felt like to supposedly become an adult. This is Bless These Braces. Hello. See, I started with the fake accent. My guest today, you guys, is Joanna Hausmann.
Joanna Hausmann.
Hausmann. She's a comedian, an actress, and a writer who was a correspondent on Nye Saves The World and is currently the head writer on Hamster and Gretel. So I want to welcome you, Joanna, to this podcast, and I can tell we're going to be friends.
I mean, we already are.
Yeah.
We're basically cousins. We're Jewish and Latina, that's it.
Yes, we are two Jewtinas, as you called it.
Yes.
And I bet you if we got a DNA testing, we would have like
I think we might be fourth cousins. Fourth cousins. We might have like the same allergies.
The same bunion, the
100%.
same. What is your background? Like, from where are you?
I don't even know how to answer that. To be
know,
totally honest with you, I feel like you might have the same feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm from Venezuela. Like
born? No, you said you were born in
England.
England.
But that's like a little fun fact about me that is not very fun to explain because it's not like I'm English. Like my parents were just studying in England and then I popped out in spring break. And then we went back to Venezuela.
Yeah.
I was there till I was like 5 or 6, went to the States and then went back to Venezuela for high school.
Sure.
And my last name, Jewish.
It's Jewish.
I look like an Irish barmaid. But like my Spanish is super Caribbean. So I feel like that was at the core of why I started doing comedy is like, I'm ridiculous. Obviously, this makes no sense. This is absurd. But I feel like for me, it's funny because in Venezuela, we don't pronounce the S, right?
Right.
So my last name in Venezuela, no one pronounces it right.
How do they say
Hausmann.
it? Hausmann.
Hausmann. And to make reservations, I'd be like, no, I'll just be Guzman. I'm not doing Hausmann.
That's your.
No, it's a fake name. It's a fake name.
But also with Guzman, it's like Guzman.
Guzman.
Oh, I love your accent.
I love your accent. It's
really
weird to talk to you in English. Because
I
once
know.
you find out someone speaks Spanish, your brain just goes, go to maternal tongue, you know?
Yeah. Bueno, el resto del podcast nadie lo va a entender entonces.
Entonces vamos así, exacto.
Yeah.
Perfecto.
No,
Bienvenidos.
We'll switch back. No, it is nice. I love getting to speak Spanish, like any chance I get.
Yeah.
Well, I'll call you after.
I do feel like I'm a different person when I speak Spanish.
1000%.
I go back more to my childhood.
Yeah, you tap into like a special cuteness about, or me at least. Like
me too.
This is what makes me special.
Yeah. I
our
love doing
roots.
my taxes in English.
Yes.
I love, crying in Spanish.
I started doing therapy in Spanish recently, and I don't like it.
Oh my God, me neither.
Yeah, it's not good.
This is the most Latin Jew thing. Okay, I'm so glad I'm talking to you about this.
Yeah.
I had an Argentinian therapist.
Oh, God.
And
sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
Wait, I just fired my Argentinian therapist because she was mean to me. She screamed at me.
Oh my God, my therapist was mean to me. He's like, well, I guess you're crazy.
Yeah.
Vos sos loca. And I'm like, isn't that the number one rule as a therapist is not to say your patient's crazy, bro?
Were you Zooming?
I was Zooming. I would have slapped
that.
him. No, but I do like him.
I know there was a good, like, it was like she would like hit me with a stick when I would do bad things. Not really. She wouldn't hit, but like she would like symbolically, like with her words. Like one time she said, "Stop acting like a cockroach. You are not a cockroach." And she like screamed, "You are not a cockroach" at me like 55 times. And at the end I was like, well, I guess I'm not a cockroach.
Was she reading Kafka? Like, what's going
I
on
know,
here?
like,
Why?
hey.
What? Wow.
I know.
You guys are very, how do I say this? Like very
annoying.
Brusco. Como
Yeah,
very,
like it's not sudden.
direct.
Yes.
very direct, which is funny.
Asshole-ish.
I
little bit.
mean, I
Yeah.
have a lot of Argentinian friends.
I love us.
It's
but
they're very fun, but as a therapist, I don't think I'd go back.
no, I want like a therapist that like cradles my head and like
Yes.
gives me candy.
I now have a Californian therapist, and she talks like that.
Oh, send me her number.
Yeah, which is very different from "Vos no sabes lo que estás diciendo." That was my Argentinian
That's-
therapist.
Wow. I mean, obsessed. Incredible. So tell me, when you were 12, 13, where were you? In the US?
I had just moved to Boston, Massachusetts.
So is that where you had did you have a bat mitzvah?
I did. I had a bat mitzvah, and it was a real big culture shock to me because I had moved from DC. I had gone to public schools in DC,
Uh-huh.
and then I went to this prep school in Boston. And dude, it was called Buckingham Brown and Nichols, which sounds like a
So
law firm.
white.
Yeah, so white and so privileged and
Yeah.
like so rich and wealthy. And I was like one of the few, non-legacy people there.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom arrived, this Latin mom, and she had to plan a bat mitzvah. Like she didn't know Boston, she didn't know the school. And the first bat mitzvah I went to, it was like a wedding times 10.
Oh, they probably went nuts over there. Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah. What was it?
it
Just like,
it was a cowboy themed
oh wow.
hayride, like insane. I think they preserved the equivalent of like, I don't know, the Ritz. I don't know what it was. And it was just so over the top. And I remember being like, I don't know how I'm gonna have a party like this.
Sure, like it's gonna be a peanut next to this.
Yes. And my mom was like, no, mi amor, no. Like, no. Like, we're gonna have a great party. Of course we are. We're
Like,
Venezuelan.
sure, but this is
over the top. And it was really overwhelming to start at a new school and be forced to, go through what I think is one of the most traumatizing performances of my life.
oh my
you know?
God. Well, yeah, and also like having a bar mitzvah, it's nice to have like a best friend helping you through it. And like if you had just moved, you probably were like not yet
I
like
had no friends.
Yeah.
My siblings were in college.
right.
Like it was absolutely insane. And not only that, but the bar and bat mitzvahs were the places where like kids, this is going to sound gross, but it's like sexuality was presented to me for the first time. Like traumatizingly. It was like everyone was grinding and people
Grinding.
were like going to second and third base in the coat closets and in the
Oh wow.
yeah. So it
What is second and third base? Like fingers.
fingers
Fingers and mouths.
yeah, and it was
That's
it was a lot,
yeah.
and it just felt like too much.
Yeah.
So I did have my bat mitzvah. I was the first woman in my family to read the Torah.
Wow.
Because I was a Muggle,
Uh-huh.
I'm a mixed
Right.
Jew and non-Jew, so I was a Reformed Jew. So there was a lot of pressure to kind of kill it,
Yeah.
on me. I wouldn't.
Did you do good? Did you fuck up?
I did not fuck up
Great.
my Torah or my Haftarah portion. I didn't fuck up.
Oh my God, it's so much work. It's
insane.
It's like an hour and a half on the stand, like doing a one-woman show, kind of.
Where you don't know what you're saying.
Well, right. The Torah portion of like the thing you learned or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
What was that for you? Do you remember?
I'm gonna butcher this, but
'Kay.
YOLO. The Jews were like walking around the desert forever, and then Moses,
Forever.
I think Moses hit some rock and water came out.
Oh.
All I remember is that I wrote a joke that killed,
Oh, that's sick.
and it murdered. It was like, it was a nightmare. It was hot. It was a desert, and there were a bunch of grumpy Jews, and everyone went wild for that joke. And I was like, I got this.
And look at you now, a comedian.
a comedian,
There
all
we
because
go.
of that moment, baby. I still remember my Torah portion.
Please say a little bit.
ויפתח הגלעדי, חיה גיבור, חי ילבחו בין את אישה זונה.
Oh my
remember
God, that's
too
so
much of it.
beautiful.
I remember I had, okay, fun fact. My tutor, my Hebrew tutor, was this I don't know, Hebrew Harvard student that wanted to, make a bit more money.
Yeah.
and he had a very thick American accent in Hebrew. So he'd be like Baruch atah, you know.
Yeah.
So 3 days before my bat mitzvah, I'm practicing with my dad, and he's like, "What accent is that
Right.
in Hebrew?" And I'm like, "I don't know. V'yiftach yiladil, Gibor hayil." And he's like, "No, my daughter will not get up on that stand and read the Torah in that accent. You're going to do it the right way." And I'm like, "Oh, what way is it?" He's like, "Your Venezuelan accent." I'm like, "How is that more right?"
That's amazing.
I don't know if it's more right.
I love that.
So I had to retrain myself to say it with my Spanish accent.
You know what's crazy about that is like my grandparents spoke Yiddish, but they would speak Yiddish in a Latin American accent. So like accent. So the way that in the US you would say like schmuck or putz, in Argentina we would say bots and schmuck.
Oh, that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's got an Argentine
It's got
accent.
an Argentine
yeah.
accent.
So it's like it's just crazy.
What other Yiddish words do you like to use?
I have my favorite Yiddish word is hanebonse.
Hanebonse.
Hanebonse, and it means a long hair that comes out of your chin.
Oh,
Isn't it so useful?
Are you kidding me?
It's beautiful.
I've been looking for this word my entire life.
Yes.
Hanebonse.
Hanebonse. And I don't know, again, how you would say that in English Yiddish, right? Like, would it be like Hannah Bones
Oh my
or
God,
whatever?
it would be something completely different.
But I remember my grandma would come out of the bathroom and be like, "I just plucked a hanebonse, like a curly hanebonse from my chin." And I was like, "Oh, this language is beautiful."
It is. Yiddish is a beautiful language.
Yeah. Obsessed.
The
Let's bring it back.
Let's bring
and
it back.
no one
The
will-
joy you get from someone else's misery.
Yeah. Oh, it
What-
is all misery. It's like there's 45 ways to say penis.
And we need them. And there's like 27 ways to say idiot. And we need those too.
Yes. And that's it. There's nothing else.
There's nothing else. That's
and
all.
the long hair that comes out of your chin.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like Yiddish came out of what, shtetls? Like we were trapped in these towns where everyone knew each other. There was nothing to do except to be poor and eat potatoes. What else were you going to do?
Sounds cozy.
It sounds
Just kidding.
cozy. And all they would do is gossip.
Gossip, have like dirty, foul-smelling sex, and eat potatoes.
And that's where
Sounds
all the
great.
words came
I
from,
wanna
baby.
go to work.
That's where our families, first met. That's
where our
where
great grandparents probably were married to each
Oh,
other.
they were. I'm sure they were. Yes.
So you practiced, you killed it.
I practiced so hard, but it was like a culture shock for my like Jewish family because it was a really hippie bat mitzvah.
Okay.
Like I had a dude with long hair playing the guitar.
Okay. Was there a theme, or it was just like
The party had no theme. We did the party at my dad was teaching at Harvard, so we did it at the Harvard Faculty Club because it was
Okay.
free.
fancy?
Yeah, so the theme was academia because we didn't really have to.
Ooh.
We didn't have a choice. Everything had oak and books and like green velvet. It was just kind of stiff.
It's
not
like
what I
a
wanted.
Frasier bat mitzvah.
Yes, yes. You know what? Let's say it was Frasier themed. Let's just say it was Frasier themed. And it was a bizarre experience because for me, I thought in that moment that the kids from school were like the priority. They were
Yeah.
they were going to be my friends forever. And I don't talk to any of those people anymore.
Oh, really?
No. And
You were like showing off for them, like this is,
yeah,
and
like
they were all like, "Fuck off."
I don't remember any of them at my bat mitzvah. And I remember exclusively telling the DJ to play like the most rancid rap of the moment. And my grandparents were just like, what is this?
What did we do?
It's like, y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Oh
My
my
grandparents like
God.
eating their,
Yeah.
filet.
Did you grind on the dance floor?
I was a prude as a child.
I was too.
Which I think every child should be.
Yeah. Were you like me that you were prude, and then like once you had like the first taste, you just became a slut? Or no?
I
That's
think
how
I
I
was like prude, scared,
Scared too.
trepidatious,
Yeah.
and then slut.
Yeah. The slutness started at like 17 for me.
Oh, okay.
So like I don't know if that was early or late, but I had like 3 years of just like fucking around, not really knowing what I was doing, but it
Just,
was
like-
like a guy would give me attention and I'd be like,
Sure. Oh,
But in like I remember at my bat mitzvah, there was an Argentine Jew boy. He was like a friend of the family's, and I had a crush on him.
Of course you did.
I could never call him by his name to my girlfriend, so his nickname was Mashed Potatoes. You
Okay.
know, I don't know.
Was he? I mean,
He
was he
he was
cute?
a pile of mashed potatoes.
Was he just mashed potatoes?
I
and
think
a
we
soup?
like came up with a nickname because at that age you're like scared to say the person's name.
Yeah, it's like
you
Voldemort.
know?
Oh
yeah,
my god,
it's like
another Harry
Voldemort.
Potter. Yeah, reference here. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can't say it.
But I remember like chasing mashed potatoes around like the. Anyways,
Oh, it was plural. Mashed potatoes.
mashed potatoes. There was many of them. It was
Oh.
a pile, and I don't know where he is. I'm gonna go Facebook him tonight and see what's up. I hope he's ugly and disgusting.
You know,
Meanwhile, I'm
maybe
successful.
he did become a pile of mashed potatoes.
He's
At a
dead.
bar mitzvah, I told the guy I liked I had a crush on him. And it was the first time I was like, this is how love works. And I went up to him. I remember like so clearly. I was like, this is bravery and this is love. And I como que le hice así.
Yeah,
What
you
is this?
tapped
What,
him.
you tapped him on the shoulder. And I was like, I have a crush on you. And I immediately ran away and
Ugh.
cried in the bathroom. And I was like, this was self-inflicted. Why am I crying?
Wow.
But it was, those moments, those ceremonies where there's just so much pressure and it's like, oh, I guess we're adults now. You and your kid brain are like, this is an important moment. I must
Yeah.
do something important. I must grind. I must tell the
Yes.
person I like them.
It's like you're at that age, you're in both fight and flight.
Oh my,
Like
constantly.
you're like,
Within
like
your
I
own
know that
body.
makes no sense, but that's the noise that your brain is making. Like,
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I still hear to this day in my ears
me too.
constantly.
When do you feel like you became an adult? Have you still? I still haven't.
I haven't. A girl can dream one day.
Same.
I think I became an adult when I got a car.
That's great.
Where I'm
Yeah.
like, not driving. No, I learned how to drive at 14.
Mhm.
And I think that's the only reason I drive is because it's like if I had my adult brain and had to learn how to drive, I wouldn't. I'd be like,
Yeah.
this is illogical.
Totally.
You're
You
telling
need
me
that like not giving a fuck energy.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
your frontal lobe can't be fully formed.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't. It's hard to circumcise after a certain age. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
I get in a car
Yes.
and I'm like, I'm fine. But when I start thinking and maquinando on
Sí.
what we're doing, it's like this is too much power for someone
Yeah.
to wield on a road and merge.
Yeah.
Too
We're
much.
too self-aware now. I know what you mean. It's so weird. I just turned 40 and my sister threw me a big birthday party last weekend and I
Mazel tov.
swear thank you. Something about turning 40, I know it's like late in life, but I was like, whoa, I'm an adult. Like at 40. And the reason I thought that was because I was kind of sick at the party and I like didn't drink booze.
Oh wow!
And I was
you're
like,
so
wow, I'm
responsible.
not drunk. And it's my 40th party. Like, that's so cool. I'm so responsible.
I'm like very shocked.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not there yet. For
I
example.
like needed an award or something.
Yeah, I would have gotten absolutely shit faced.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm kind of lying. I did have some wine, but I didn't get drunk. And I didn't smoke cigarettes.
Okay,
Sad.
that's big.
Lying to myself.
That's
But there was something adult about it.
I think as when we're in that age where we go through these ceremonies where it's like, oh, you are now an adult. You think so much that you will be different,
Yeah.
but you are
The same
absolutely
little pug ball. Yes.
the same
Yeah.
little. Did you say
We-
pog ball?
I said pug ball, which I
Pug
don't know what that
ball.
means, but I said it.
But I do feel
Just-
that
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
little pug
little
ball.
cuties. Oh, I want to like take myself to the mall.
Me too. Oh, actually, the mall was a scary place for me.
Yeah.
It was a
Wait.
place where it felt Darwinian as a child. Like,
Why?
Like
I was comfortable at malls. I'm curious.
the mall and like the movies were places where kids didn't have as much like adult supervision.
Yes.
And so I was afraid of children. I still am afraid of children.
Yes.
But the kids in my school, the mall was just, they would go wild.
You know why that to me has to do with you like moving around and not having like a steady base of like, please, I'm diagnosing you. You have another Argentine therapist.
There
now.
I am.
But like, you know, like when you don't feel like segura with like your
No.
best friends and like your group or whatever, like,
Yeah, because I moved I changed schools every 2 years until I was 14, and
Yeah,
and
that's like me till I was 14. The same
it
thing.
felt scary.
Yeah.
Like everything was so scary, and I didn't have siblings my age, so it just felt like very lonely. And then when I moved to Venezuela, you know, I was like, I'm gonna do this right this time,
Yeah.
which I don't know what I was thinking was right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I made very close friends there, and I had a quinceañera there, and I feel like
Oh, yeah. You had a quinceañera and a bat mitzvah, which is insane.
it's
Which is
insane.
what I had.
And my mom would remind me, like, the only reason we're throwing you two parties is because you moved and you need a new group of friends here because we wouldn't pay for two parties otherwise. I'm like, okay,
Whoa.
mom, just let me party. But it was a stark contrast to my bat mitzvah in the Harvard Faculty Club in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Some of the kids bribed the bartenders, and all these 14 and 15-year-olds, I think half of them got absolutely obliterated. And
I love being Latina.
I didn't know what was happening though, Tam. I was like,
Oh, you were just like,
why is Jessica throwing up?
oh my God.
I was so, because for me, I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah.
At no point in my head was I like, oh, there's alcohol here.
Right.
The kids will be able to access it if they bribe someone.
Right.
Latin America, baby.
Oh, I love it.
I love
But
it,
it's so fucked up too.
It's so fucked
Were
up.
were your friends there at the quinceañera? Were they like you closer to them, or did you feel equally kind of distant to everybody?
I felt closer to them. I went to the American school in
Uh-huh.
Caracas, and so there was an inherent sense of like complication in everyone's identity.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't you're just this one thing. You aren't just, Thomas Wellington III who went to Buckingham Brown and Nichols,
Yeah.
because his grandfather, it was a place where people with identity crisis sort of merged and went to school together.
Totally.
So I did feel immediately closer to people there.
What? Yeah. Argentinas, is there a big Jewish population in Caracas?
It's not obviously not as big as Argentina.
Yeah.
Argentina, I think, wasn't it the third biggest?
It's yeah. I don't know the number, but it's like and very tight knit too.
Mhm. In Venezuela, I think in its heyday was around 10,000.
Okay.
So not as big. I don't think particularly
still,
big, but
like,
very, very tight knit.
Close. Yeah. Period.
Oh my God, I was a late
Your
bloomer.
first one. How old?
I was almost 14,
Okay.
and I remember at lunch one day, every girl was talking about their period in middle school, and everyone was like, "Joanna, how about you? Do you use tampons or pads?" And I was like, I haven't gotten my period yet. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, what is wrong with you?" And it was a traumatic experience. So when I got my period, I was so excited.
Wow, that's great.
I called my brother in college,
Oh my God, cute.
and I was like, "Michi, I got my period." And he
That's
was like,
sad.
"Oh, bro, thanks for this
Oh my
information."
God.
To this day, he's like, "Remember when you called me and told me you got your period?" It was so
That's
weird.
so cute.
I was
Your
so
brother.
I now I have endometriosis. Little did I know, it really
would end
not
up-
something to celebrate.
No.
Hated it.
Did you know how to put a tampon in?
Not for years.
For years, me too.
I was like, I'm scared.
It was like having sex.
Yes, I actually didn't put it. I could not use a tampon until I had sex.
No, I was exactly the same. It was like a foreign object, and then it's like, am I going to get toxic shock syndrome? And
Obsessed
it's like
with obsessed with
yeah, like
toxic. That is my Roman Empire. Is toxic shock syndrome.
and it was like, the one horror story you heard of the one girl that would leave the tampon in for a month and forget about it, and then she would start to like ooze like. Sorry, this is disgusting, but like a weird stench would start to come out, and then her legs would fall off.
And you know what? And that is a beautiful story.
Did you ever get like there were so many of these stories, like the guy that the girl that jumped off the refrigerator on top of the broom because she was trying to have sex with the broom?
Okay,
I don't know what country I'm from.
Where are you hearing these? What?
They were like horror stories from high school and stuff.
I mean, they do try to scare. It's very Latino though to have like really shocking, horrible stories to scare you out of bad behavior. So maybe it's Argentinian.
Yeah, that's where the guys are putting yams in their butts. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyways, the period.
It is something that like girls are forced into like reckoning with the concept of adulthood biologically in a way that's very horrifying.
It's horrifying.
It's like, what? What a bad, men are like, boys are like, oh yeah, we got wet dreams. How fun. That sounds like fun.
This is really disgusting, and I'm gonna regret saying
can't
this,
wait for
but
this.
I've started. My husband is uncircumcised. And fuck, I shouldn't have told. Okay, he's uncircumcised, and I guess his parents never taught him how to clean his, like, whatever it is. So when he was like, I'm gonna get divorced from this.
You know what? It's worth it.
When he was like 7 or 8, I guess he pulled his foreskin back for the first time, and he said that the smell was so bad, he actually fainted. I'm so sorry, babe. And I'm like,
I cannot.
I'm dying. Like, poor guy, like, hey, what was in there?
This sounds like a story that your grandma tells you to like,
From the
like
problem.
he died from the stench of not cleaning his. Oh, I know so little about penises.
But I guess that I'm just
Wow.
saying men had it hard. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Wow, I'm sorry.
I
I'm gonna
know.
be thinking about this for the rest of my life.
But I enjoy that because it's like, that's all you suffered from? Great. Like, now I'm, like, we still fucking have to go through it.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck.
I know, I am too. I can't believe
fainted.
he fainted.
Well, wow.
I'm blushing.
Oh
Sorry,
my
we
God.
need water.
I am
Cheers
for him.
to my
Cheers.
husband's foreskin.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
That's the best story I've ever heard in my life. Oh
Anyways,
my God.
so you called your brother, and then you just suffered in silence.
I did.
Put a pad on, I assume.
Yeah, and I remember I had a cousin who got her period at 9, and she had
Ooh,
boobs.
that's too early.
She's too early, but I was jealous. She had boobs. She looked like a woman and was really tall, and I looked like a spaghetti. And I was like, man, now I'm gonna look hot. I didn't. Like it took years for me to grow
Show
into
me
myself.
pictures, please. Do you have pictures? Oh my God, I want to see.
Oh my God. Okay, my official bat mitzvah picture, which is like right, a few months before I got my period. This is the photo shoot I did, the Charles River with my
wow.
Skechers, and I wore 2 shirts.
2 shirts, the layered shirts.
I thought I looked so hot there.
Oh my God, I'm
I look exactly the same, to be
obsessed.
completely fair. But
Oh my
that's the
God.
same
Well,
person.
you do. It's crazy. You do, but you're like the glamorized version now.
Yeah, I'm yassified.
Yeah, you're yesified.
But like this I think is at the core of who I was. Like this is the night of my bat mitzvah.
I love you with braces.
I wasn't even drunk there.
We would have been friends, I can tell.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was also a spaghetti.
A little spaghetti.
Two
We could have been spaghetti girls,
spaghettis.
and then we could have run after mashed potatoes. all the carbs coming together.
Joanna, thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming. And let's plug you. Where can
Yes.
we find you?
Instagram, Johaus, Johaus. YouTube, Joanna Hausmann. Twitter, or what is it? X,
Twitcher.
formerly known
X.
as Twitter.
Yes.
Joanna Hausmann. What others? TikTok. I don't really go. I'm scared of TikTok,
Yeah,
guys.
maybe we're too old.
I think I
Maybe
am.
not.
We're so adult that we don't get TikTok.
That's
the-
what it is.
That's the cutoff.
Yes, that's what it is.
And those are my plugs.
Well, it was so amazing talking to you. We're
Cousin.
gonna hang out.
Yeah. Wanna
We're
come over
gonna
for
spend
Hanukkah?
Hanukkah. Yes. Yes.
I would love that.
Thank you again.